goes with this. This wasn't set up as a competition. This wasn't set up as a competition between the three slaves. Why the heck didn't the three slaves get together and do something as a team? Why didn't they figure out what to do together? Why didn't they help one another figure out what they were going to do with this wonderful stuff they were entrusted with? You know what I think? I think that if the guy with the 5 talents had taken that $1.2 million and built a school and decided to make it available for anybody who wanted to learn, and then put a lot of people to work in the vineyard and had them working in the new winery that accompanied the vineyard, and then put a bunch of them to work in the new 5-star restaurant, and then told the boss what he had done, I think the boss would have been just as happy. I think if the guy with the 2 talents had taken his $500,000 and built a hospital, what the heck, next to Irving's school, you know, why not? And had health insurance for all of the employees that were working for the master in the winery and the restaurant. I think the master would have been delighted. Okay, sure, it's a risk. It's a risk to take what's been entrusted to you and invested in something. Yeah, it's a risk. You don't know how things are going to turn out. You don't know what you're going to come up with. But the key is, take the risk. The key is to do something. What the 3rd slave did, when the master was upset, okay, the master was upset because he dissed him, all right? The master was upset because the slave dissed him. The slave said, yeah, well, you know, I knew you were a harsh guy. You reap where you don't sow, you scatter seed, you gather where you don't scatter, man. No, I didn't think, wasn't my feeling that you deserved my thanks. What you deserved was my resentment. The master is not so upset that the talent was buried. He's upset because this slave did not understand that he had been given a privilege. This slave did not understand that it was appropriate to be thankful, not resentful. If the one slave with the 1 talent had come to the master and said, you know what? I gave every dime of it away. The master would have said, well done, good and faithful servant. Now enter into the joy of your master. I have to tell you about a friend of mine. When I met her, she was an abused wife. She was suicidal. Helen has been a minister to me for 30 years. She has been a mentor to me. She doesn't have the credentials, but she's still my mentor because she's so smart. The other day we talked on the phone, and she said, you know, I'm 1 minute away from the street. She lived in an apartment 10 years ago, and the apartment complex was sold to new owners, and the new owners just upped the rent so high that she couldn't afford it. And she was fortunate enough, she lives on SSI, she was fortunate enough to get a HUD apartment. So she is very clear that she is 5 minutes from the street at any given moment in time. What she told me the other day was, I keep $1,000 in a bank account for savings. $1,000. And that's my money if my 10-year-old car breaks down. That's my money if I need to fix something in my car, which is the only possession really that she has. Or if I have an unexpected bill. Then I live, my SSI helps to pay for my rent, and then I live with my necessities. I pay for my necessities. But I give everything else away. Now, she works. She cleans houses for people. She cleans up their messes in their homes. She runs errands for them. She cooks for them. She does small jobs for people, and she is paid a small amount of money for that. She told me last year I gave away $3,000 to people who I knew needed the money more than I did. She's this far from living on the street. But for her, it is more important to give to people who she sees have more need than she has. If these slaves had taken what the master had given them and given to other people, built, made, created, built a church next to Irving's school, the master would have been happy. What we need to understand is that there's always a risk in working with what we've been entrusted with. But we have been entrusted. We've been entrusted with intellect. We have been entrusted with incredible minds. Some of us have been entrusted with mathematical minds that are just phenomenal. Some of us have been entrusted with an ability to make wealth. Some of us have been entrusted with beauty. Some of us have been entrusted with strength. But we have all been entrusted with something. And God's call, God's invitation, God's expectation is that we will make a decision ourselves about what we are going to do with it. That we will make the best and right decision to do something wonderful and something good with what God has entrusted to us. Which one? Which one are you? Which one? Which one are you? And how will you say thank you to God for entrusting, for giving you this privilege of life? Amen.